I'm a paediatrician and the welfare of children is my absolute priority. I also work for Lovewise, a Christian charity which produces resources on subjects of puberty, growing up, relationships and marriage. One of our most popular school resources, which I've used to teach lessons in secondary schools, is entitled Pornography, Dangers and Decisions. While teaching these lessons over the past 10 years, there's been a noticeable change in the attitudes of young people. Much of this is a result of increased accessibility. More and more porn is available online, and almost all teens and tweens have smartphones in their pockets, many of them without any restrictions on what they can access. Whilst in the context of a lesson, teenagers seem very well able to understand the dangers of pornography, they can articulate the many ways in which it can be damaging, it's increasingly evident that a majority of them are already accessing it or seeing it as normal. In the lessons that I've taught, boys will often attempt to justify why it's actually okay to watch porn. They won't really get addicted. They know it's not reality, and yet they're still watching it. But actually what I found even more disturbing as a woman is the attitude of many of the girls, and we're talking 13-year-olds here. Although they're very aware of how porn objectifies women and frequently involves degrading and violent acts, they seem to have come to a point where it's been so normalised that they accept their boyfriends will be watching it. As a result of the widespread availability of porn to children and young people, they are growing up in a culture where violent, degrading and harmful sexual activity is being normalised. Both boys and girls are being led to believe that this is what is expected of them. And this is actually made worse by some of the relationships and sex education teaching in schools, which also normalises porn and some harmful sexual practices. There was a debate in Westminster last month which detailed some of the very extreme relationships and sexual education material that is currently being used in schools. Some resources tackling the issue of porn actually expose children to pornographic material, and parents often aren't aware of this. Children are a gift from God, and as adults we are responsible for their development and for protecting them from harm. Proverbs 22 verse 6 says, "Train up a child in the way he should go. Even when he is old, he will not depart from it." What children are exposed to as they're developing develops them as adults. So it's absolutely vital that under 18s, whose brains are still very much developing, are protected from accessing porn by age verification, especially as for many, many young people, their first exposure is accidental. It's also important that teaching in schools enables them to make good decisions about aspects of their lives which will impact on their future well-being. They need to be protected from anything which normalises violent, degrading and abusive sexual practices and relationships, whether this is material they're accessing themselves or what is being taught to them in schools. So I urge you to support this motion in order to protect children who are most vulnerable to the harms of pornography. Thank you.